conducting plan giving seminars for the organizational family, right? So here we go. Next slide, please, Trish. We want to talk about first the internal audiences. So I love plan giving. I know that most people do not, because I think it is a little intimidating for a lot of people, but it shouldn't be. And this is one of the major reasons why our internal audiences that we have access to out of the gate, right? Plan giving is oftentimes deferred giving. So it is an easier vehicle of giving, which means that all of these groups that we're going to talk through just now, they're all accessible right now, as compared to having to prep them, having to take the time to build those relationships. These are people that we can sit down with now, right? So let's start out at the top here. Employees, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, they are plugged into the mission, right? We think about employees on all different levels, all different scopes. You have your entry-level employees, still important, right? They have the ability to be able to give a planned gift down the road. Planned gifts are not necessarily about the amounts when you're establishing them, right? So employees, us giving them the ability to have a plan for where their money goes, which references back to what Jim was just talking about. We want to tell our money what to do, right? Not have it tell us what to do. Giving your employees the ability to know that there is a way to have a plan. What a benefit to them for that deferred giving. Retirees, oh my Lanta, listen, they have bought in, they have retired from your organization. They have retired in a way where the mission is powerful and palpable to them. These are some of your most powerful advocates, right? Our retirees, take a good, strong list at those who have retired, not just recently, but have maybe retired over the last couple of decades even. Board members, foundation, philanthropy, volunteers. So these are going to be your committee members. These are who we think of out of the gate when we think of prime audiences for planned giving, right? We know these ones. We know that we should be talking to our board members and our foundation or philanthropy volunteers. We know that. These are the ones that have the ability generally. They should be theoretically having conversations about what's going to happen with their wealth whenever they pass away. These are people who are savvy and know that this type of conversation is going to be had. If we're not having conversations about planned giving with our board members, we are doing a disservice. So make sure that you're starting there. Other volunteers, auxiliary. I love this one as well. Your auxiliary members, your volunteers, all different scopes, right? Anyone who is donating time to your mission is considered to be a volunteer, whether or not it's a foundation volunteer, whether or not they're driving vehicles or they're packing bags worth of food or they're helping students. No matter what they're doing, they have bought into your mission already. Physicians, great one. Physicians, they are generally more aware of mortality. They are more poised to have conversations about what is going to happen with their wealth when they pass away. They are able to lead by example. Alumni and parents, again, great group because they understand your mission. They understand, they have felt it in their bones. They know what it means to be a part of your organization. All of these are internal audiences that you can take a look at as an organization. Yes, some of them might not apply to you. Physicians might not apply to you. Alumni or parents might not apply to you, but you can plug someone else in there that does. These are all audiences that you can pull together to provide services for in terms of pairing them with planned giving opportunities. Next slide, please, Trish. Why? Why focus on internal constituents? Easy, out of the gate access, what we're just talking about, right? Access, we have access to these groups. We have their names. We have their mailing addresses. We have a way to get into contact with them that is relatively easy. They're either coming to us, they're volunteering with us. They are part of us already, right? So access to them is a big one. Just as big, inclination. We don't have to sit down with these groups and say, here's why. They already know the why, right? Because they're invested already. In some way, shape, or form, they are tied to us and they are donating of their time. Even employees, they are donating of their time. They're getting paid for it, but they believe in it. Inclination, that interest in our mission means that half of our job is already done. Sitting down with a prospect or sitting down with a donor and pitching our mission and hoping that they align with us and hoping that they find that to be just as important. These groups that we're talking about, these internal groups, these volunteers, these parts of our organizations, they already have that interest. So start with them. And then opportunities. This is a big one too. Opportunities, we have the ability to convey appreciation to them, right? We have our ability to say, thank you. Here's something that we want to be able to help with. We know that this is intimidating. It can be scary. We want to be able to say thank you. We can educate them about planned gifts, which is, again, an opportunity for them, but an opportunity for us as well. And we want to be able to highlight for them how this helps. It helps them having a plan. It helps them addressing this situation. We can help with that. Of course, it feels sometimes like a tit for tat. We're giving them the options. We're hoping that they choose us, but what a beautiful partnership, right? And then it gives us the ability to share, continue to share what we're doing. I think it's so important as organizations, once someone has indicated that they are leaving a planned gift with us, it is our job to continue that stewardship and cultivation process with them, right? Next slide, please, Trish. So why engage a planned gift committee? Because we know that committees help us with the heavy lift, right? And planned giving, of all the committees, I would say is the one where you want your experts alongside you. Because even if we're a planned giving officer, we still need a lot of other people in that car with us while we are driving. That vehicle of planned giving is a complex one. Professionals speak as subject matter experts, right? We want our accountants, we want our estate planners, we want our attorneys, we want all of these people to be rowing in the same direction as us, because that makes our prospects and our donors feel more comfortable, right? And they are subject matter experts. They come alongside us in this. Also, they're professionals and their firms may sponsor or underwrite our expenses. So if you have an event, I'm just going to use an organization like Edward Jones or Wells Fargo. If they have a bunch of agents within your community, they might want to put it on and be a subject matter expert, but they also might pay for that. They might pay for the food. They might pay for whatever it is that you're doing special for the attendees. So that's less money that you need to spend because you're able to provide that service for the people who are there. Opportunity for individual or specialized follow-up, estate planning content. Of course, this goes back to access. We want to be able to use a committee to be able to follow up with people. You've got a lot. Think about an auxiliary. If you bring an auxiliary, you have 200 people in an auxiliary, you have 50 people that show up. That's a lot of people to follow up with. You're going to need some help, and you need that planned gift committee to be able to help with that. Professionals and their firms, they want to support your organization and align with good works. It reflects well on them. I want you to think about wealth advisors, that old adage where they say, don't give money to a sinking ship. Wealth advisors do not want their clients to be giving money to sinking ships. They want to give to good organizations doing good work that are going to sustain their missions. They want for their clients to feel as though they are making a difference. You are the answer to that, right? So they want to align with you. You want to align with them. Beautiful partnership. And of course, both sides are getting introductions here, right? Imagine if you have a group, you pull them together, you do a lovely, a tea or a lunch or a dinner or whatever it is that you do that is special for this group of people that you're pulling together, those internal constituents, right? And then you have the walls lined with attorneys and estate planners and wealth advisors and accountants and all of the people who make these gifts happen, who advise on this. And you have a lot of people sitting in that room who have never thought of this, who are excited by the idea of it, who find it to be intriguing, but they don't know the next steps. And you say, these people are all able to help, right? We are only asking for people to consider our organizations as part of their giving, right? Hopefully it's all of it, but we're asking for them to make a plan for their money. These people can help, and we hope that you consider us. So it is a win, 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 win all the way around. And that is a good way to look at it. It's a win for all of the other professionals. It's a win for us. And it is most importantly a win for the donor and for our mission, right? And then you've got plenty of time for this. So I just want to point out that the third week of October is National Estate Planning Week. So pick one of those internal groups, if not all of them, and plan something special for that week where you can be focused on planned gifts for your organization. And now I am going to turn it over to Jim Lyons.
Great. Thank you very much, Shauna. This is a way to think about this process. And when you look at this triangle, across the bottom, it tends to be our broad, communication tools, articles, brochures, mailings, professional cultivation, lots of contact with lots of people in as many ways as we possibly can. The seminars represent kind of the next step up where we're trying to encounter people and have interaction face-to-face with individuals. And that becomes a next step to the top where we're really able to sit down and talk to people individually about their particular specific gift and circumstance. And you can think about this even in the other way and turn this upside down as a funnel where we have all the broad communication, then we go to the seminars, and from there we connect people individually. So that's the process we're working with in planned gifts on a continual basis. Our annual donors fall into this as well as far as the contact at the bottom level. They become great prospects for our seminars and hopefully for planned gifts as well. But it's all a process of kind of flowing down where we can have those individual contacts, always keeping in mind that our average annual gift to any nonprofit in the country is about $600. Average planned gift on an annual basis is about $45,000. So we're really trying to sift through a lot of the broad-based contact to get down to those individual conversations. And the seminar is kind of that jumping off point between those in that process. Next slide, please. So as we look at this, the way to think about putting these seminars together is really, there are three partners in this. Certainly, we're going to be driving it from a philanthropy and foundation staff as far as the planning and logistics and the details and all the things that we do. We do need to involve those planned gift professionals. I think sometimes the thing that gets in our way from a staff standpoint on planned gifts, as Shauna said, is that, it's hard to be a complete and total expert on the latest and greatest of every single aspect of plan and estate giving. And the reality is there's no way as an individual that any of us could know as much as a committee of professionals where we have financial people who are involved every day as far as trust officers and CPAs and tax attorneys and investment advisors. They know all those things. They know far more collectively than we would ever learn. And so their opportunity as far as providing credibility, information is great from both standpoints because their association with us is so positive. And then the group itself, whether it's employees, whether it's auxiliary and volunteers, whether it's your board, make sure that you're getting them involved. We're able to probably put together the logistics and the information. The planned gift professionals can put together content. Very important to get those groups to help promote it within their own group. And I think sometimes think about quality over quantity when we're looking at people and attendance at these types of things. Sometimes we think, okay, we've gone to a lot of trouble to put together a program, an invitation and marketing, and putting all that together, and get concerned when we get a small group. We think, oh, we want 50 to 100 people there. Well, of course we do, but the reality is, in a small group, it's totally worthwhile if we have a relatively small group, and out of that small group, we have one person who does something uh, for the organization in the way of a planned gift because of the size of the planned gifts involved. So think more about quality as far as people coming, and not be as concerned saying, well, we've just got to pack the room for this to be a success. If you end up with one gift out of this process, it's totally worthwhile in terms of effort. Next slide, please. I think the other thing is, we want those planned gift committee members or planned gift team members to present. They're the ones who have the professional expertise and the credibility. We do want to involve, members of the target audience in the planning and promoting. Our message for an employee type of presentation may be very different than that to the board or to a group of physicians uh, or to the auxiliary. We want to be able to promote in as many ways as possible, but involve that audience to say, how do you hear about things? How should we communicate this? And then obviously have a good process involved to capture all the contact information, so we have the ability to follow up, have those next steps, have a process so that, okay, we present a seminar and then we kind of let it sit, and that information goes out into the void. We have to have a way to make sure we follow up with this information. Again, you're going to go to some effort to put this all together. You want to have some very clear follow-up steps in terms of communication and the opportunity to talk to people individually if they indicate that's something they're interested in. Next slide, please. Just as an example of this is just a survey that they did with the employees prior to the seminar itself, so that we set this out in advance to get an idea not just of topics but of the logistics as far as dates and times and how to communicate and that type of thing, what would really make a difference. I sent this out. It really helped us plan. It really did make a difference in being able to really zero in on what the employees in this particular case of the seminar, what they're interested in and what was going to induce them to attend and be part of it. Doesn't have to be complicated or lengthy, but you get some nice feedback, helps you to plan, and you want their involvement. Next slide, please. And that kind of leads to this step-by-step process here, where you kind of establish a focus group, get a small group together and say, tell us about what this would look like, length of the program, the details we talk about, ask for their help to help them promote to their own group. I think one of the things that we find, particularly with a planned gift committee effort, is that they're experts in their field of expertise in some aspect of financial or estate planning. They're not necessarily experts in marketing and promotion. So we want to talk to the target audience to find out what works best for them. We do want that planned gifts committee member to design that program and put that content together based on the feedback that we've gotten from our target group, and then really plan the details. And it's going to be very, very different. When we look at perhaps an auxiliary group, the time of day they may meet may be very different than a group of physicians, and we have to really look at and see what that looks like. And then really at the bottom one is an important part of it, a clear way to ask for additional information. One of the things that we find, in any situation, no matter what the size of the group is, sometimes people will be hesitant to ask questions about their own personal situation in a group of people, because sometimes that information they feel is very personal, confidential, but they may have some real questions about what they may do or what they should do relative to their estate plan, relative to how they may make a gift if that was something they're looking for. So you want to have some type of way to be able to follow up with people. Sometimes it's fairly easy where they'll come up to the speakers after the program and say, I had a question. I didn't want to say it in front of the group, but I do have a question. Other times we do get that kind of reaction and engagement when we follow up after the fact, as far as evaluations, response cards, additional questions they may have, and so forth, and give them the opportunity to ask questions and get more information. You have to think about the fact that they're getting great financial information from experts in financial and estate planning, and that's very, very valuable. And so we know it can make a difference and hopefully influence their involvement with us. Next slide, please. And finally, sometimes we have an initial group meeting with sometimes 30 minutes, maybe less than that, maybe 15, just to say, here are the things we're going to talk about to create interest and encourage attendance. Make sure when you're talking to your board, you have a specific topic for them to make sure that they're aware. We sometimes forget the board. The board knows all about us. We know they're going to give, and we don't think of them as a target audience. Sometimes they can be very, very helpful. Spend as much time on promotion as you do on putting the program together. And we think sometimes, well, the information in the program, it speaks for itself. Isn't this great stuff? Well, it is, but we need to put as much effort into promoting and getting people there as we do putting it together. And always make sure that you have an opportunity, even though it doesn't necessarily have to be front and center. You're trying to provide information for people. It's an educational opportunity, but it's also an opportunity for a little bit of a commercial. If you have a campaign, your recognition program for those who do make a gift and say, we appreciate everyone being here today. This program was put on by our Planned Gifts Committee or by our foundation. And here's what we're trying to accomplish. And for those of you who are interested in doing something within your estate plan, let us know. It doesn't have to be lengthy, but I think we don't want to lose the opportunity when we have kind of a captive audience to be able to promote a little bit of what we're ultimately trying to accomplish. Certainly giving them information, closer relationship, but ultimately we hope in many cases the opportunity for them to make some type of an estate gift. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Patty, who's going to kind of step through a number of some pretty good samples that we've got from over the years. And Patty, take it away if you would.
Thank you, Jim. As Jim and Shauna were talking and going through some of the best practices, I was trying to think of my favorite program and one of the most successful ones that we've done with Organizational Family for Planned Gifts. So I thought I would just outline that one first. And this is my second one, favorite one here at with Hospice of Lenawee. But one that we had was a group of women auxiliary members, and they had really struggled, the development staff, to connect with these ladies. And they were an affluent group, and there were about 30 or 35 of them. And, very, they weren't the older service volunteers. They were more of a young quasi fundraising organization. And so they sat down with a peer group of the leaders, and they developed what they call the Health and Wealth series, where they wanted to promote the hospital project, which was orthopedics and neurology. But at the same time, they also wanted to have some fun in that and put some physician engagement and also some planned gifts. So it was a really kind of a complicated thing. So I had to get all that into 1 hour. So they did, their theme was head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And so the head was, they had a neurologist talk about, who specialize in gerontology, talk about dementia and Alzheimer's, and how do you identify that with a family member? What do you do? What do you look for? Then they had an estate planning lawyer who talked about, so if you have someone in your family, a friend or someone who you think may have early stages of dementia, what do you need to do from the planned gifts perspective? What decisions do you need to be made? So that was about a 20-minute session between the two of them. That was the head. The shoulders, part of that was fun, was they had several of the massage therapist in town who underwrote the meal also come in and provide some benefits of massage therapy and some certificates. And then the knees was they hosted it at the country club, and so the space was free, and they had some of the pro shop material, the golf and tennis gear there, so the ladies could shop, and they had great discounts on that. And the toes, what they had some of the local community who did pedicures and manicures. They had some gift certificates for the toes. So they gave some gift certificates away. So these ladies left with some amazing information about orthopedics, where with the head and the knee component, the knees and the shoulders. And then they also had information about dementia. They also had planned gifts information. And 4 of those ladies made a planned gift within about 60 days after that. They came back and said, this is great. I want to do something. They engaged, they walked through the process, and they had 4 people come out of that one session. They had about 20 people there. So that was one of the most successful ones because they got very creative. They made it fun. They had physicians there. They learned about the project. They learned about playing gifts. And so they also had some great benefits with clothing and pedicures and manicures and that kind of thing. So Hospice of Lenawee has done this, and several of our hospices have done this. This is a wonderful program. You can do it even if you're not healthcare. It is a great program where they have the importance of making a will, advanced directive, power of attorney. So they use all of the components that you need to do anyway. And a lot of your the hospitals here are already doing a lot of this, but the 5 wishes plus 1, the 6th wish is, do you also have a charitable gift? Only 8% of the population has a charitable gift. And this is saying, here's all the things that you need to do personally for your family, but also think about your favorite charities. And so this was a great program that they go out in the community and do. It's a set, not a canned program, but it's a template that they can take to any group in the community, as well as all the internal audiences. So they first did all the internal audiences, and then they went out and took it on the road. And it's been very, very popular in that community. They've probably done about 25 or 30 of this one program. So, and they've got it, dialed down very well. Next slide, Trish, please. So part of this is with physicians. If you are in a situation where you have a physician, the healthcare, you've got malpractice is always a thing the physicians are concerned about. This one engaged the spouses with them. It does help to bring spouses in with the physicians usually. And this just is an example of one of the programs that worked, and they got CME credits, which is always a positive thing as well. So this was one that's very popular. We've had a lot of our organizations do this one, just some kind of thing for physicians and their spouses with malpractice. Next slide, please, Trish. Just a way that we can recognize. Here's another health and wealth series. That's always, you've got the health topic, because if you are an health organization, but then you've also got that plain gift topic. And what are we doing to make that fun, back and forth, and balance that? Auxiliary lunch and learn. Again, another health and wealth where we have both of those in there, where we're talking about what our current campaign is, what our current project is. And also here's true community benefit for you as far as personally with your tax situation and your estate planning situation. So great examples there. This is one of my favorite ones, is the treasure map. This is another one of my favorite ones that we love to do. This is, where is everything? Where's your safe deposit box? Where do you keep your passwords? Where are all the things that if you pass and your children need to find all this information, or your spouse, where is everything? Who is your life insurance agent? What's their phone number? How do you connect with them? All of the information that we do. We've had a lot of clients have a lot of fun with the treasure map program, because they can, it just kind of takes a topic that's very serious and lightens it up. We've had several do, there's a National Talk Like a Pirate Day in November. We've had a few that do the piratey thing around that and try to do anything to make people want to come and want to be motivated. Employees love this program right here. They will come, they will get engaged. They do enjoy the treasure map aspect of it. They can have, different kind of things as far as the promo that really makes this one fun. So, and it's a very, very good service. Next slide, please, Trish. This is another one, not quite as interesting, but very necessary. This is a worksheet for making a will. We've had many clients do internal audiences with the importance of making a will, or wills workshop, where they have a form. When they come, they fill out the information while the attorney and the accountant and the health advisors are making the presentations. They can fill out their own form. Then they're encouraged to take that to their own attorney to do a will. And so a lot of that takes a lot of the nervousness out of it, because if they've got a document they can take to a will, they've already thought through executor, they've already thought through some of the key things that the decisions that you need to make. So they've got this worksheet, and when they go to the lawyer, they've got a lot of it already done. So this is a really valuable tool for any of your internal audiences. This one and the treasure map are both great programs as far as starter programs to get the thing launched. So that's a good example of that one. just a few other ones. Again, more lunch and learns. A lot of these programs are 30 minutes to an hour, just in and out really quickly. We want to have people, it's a very intimidating topic. It's not a very interesting topic, playing gifts. It just scares people. They don't want to do that. So again, that's why we involve the focus group to say, hey, this is going to be fun. Let's all go have lunch and learn about X, whatever that thing is. But here's a whole series of different examples of ones that we've done, just the way they've promoted. And you can see they're all very, very differently. And again, that's the influence of the peer group that's helping the development staff put that together. And so these are just some different examples, and all these samples are available for you to look at afterwards. We can send this to you. So, but just to give you an idea of the different varieties on these lunch and learns.